Hello to everyone. This is Viewpoint on Noyan Tapan TV, and I am Benyamin Poghosyan. Perhaps the number one question which all ask now, why we do not have Armenia-Azerbaijan peace treaty as of early December 2023. Let's remember that 1 year ago, October-November 2022, a lot of people were discussing the possibility to sign a peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan by the end of 2022. These discussions became more acute after the late September meeting at White House between Secretary of Security Council of Armenia and Foreign Policy Advisor to President Aliyev. However, no peace agreement by the end of 2022. Then, it seemed like a deja vu. Starting from spring 2023, again, a lot of discussions. This time, we will have Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement by the end of 2023. Even the blockade, which Azerbaijan imposed on Nagorno-Karabakh in December 2022, and even the establishment of checkpoint on Lachin corridor in April 2023, which de facto cancelled the existence of corridor, did not impact negatively the hopes that despite all these developments, peace agreement is possible. There were extensive meetings. Pashinyan and Aliyev met twice in May and July 2023, and there was the perception that principles have been agreed and sides are very close to sign a peace agreement, or at least to sign a roadmap which then will pave the way for the peace agreement. On September 19, 2023, Azerbaijan launched large-scale offensive against Nagorno-Karabakh Republic and forced the capitulation of Republic's authorities. On September 28, President Samuel Sharamanyan signed a decree to dissolve the Nagorno-Karabakh Republic and all its institutions by the end of 2023. More than 100,000 Armenians were forced to leave Nagorno-Karabakh within a week. As in early October 2023, less than 50 Armenians remained in Nagorno-Karabakh. However, even despite this terrible development and this human tragedy, immediately after military takeover of Nagorno-Karabakh by Azerbaijan, discussions began even more active. That now is the time to sign peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The main obstacle, the future of Nagorno-Karabakh, the fate of Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh, does not exist anymore. We have neither Nagorno-Karabakh nor Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh. Yes, we have forced displaced 105,000 people, but the international community, and most particularly the European Union and the United States, will provide some help. And these people will find a way to live in Armenia, or at the end of the day, they may go to Russia or any other place. So, late September, early October 2023. Huge hopes that peace agreement is palpable and peace agreement is coming. It will be signed somewhere in Western capitals, and it will bring a new era in South Caucasus. Prosperity, peace, Armenia-Azerbaijan, Armenia-Turkey normalization, like historical grievances are overcome, and this all due to the efforts of the European Union, of the United States. So we will have new South Caucasus, closer to the west, probably a little bit away from Russia and a little bit away from Iran. And everybody had a hope that the beginning of this final journey will be on October 5 in Granada during the third summit of the European political community. However, suddenly, on October 4th, it appeared that Azerbaijan did not want to go to Granada. This was a shock, but then many in the West thought, okay, maybe this because of French foreign minister just 2 days ago, before the Granada summit on October 3rd, went to Yerevan and stated that France would provide weapons to Armenia. Maybe Aliyev got shocked or got upset. That is why he did not want to negotiate with the President Macron. And also Azerbaijan hinted that it would like to see President Erdogan on the table. At the end of the day, there was no agreement, so nothing happened in Granada. Or put it precisely, something happened. Prime Minister Pashinyan went to Granada and signed a declaration with Charles Michel, President Macron, and German Chancellor Scholz, with some ideas how the Armenia-Azerbaijan peace may look like, which then Pashinyan started to call them as the Granada principles, probably trying to replacing or remembering the Madrid principles, which were elaborated by OSCE Minsk group. However, in early October, Azerbaijan hinted that, okay, no France, but I'm okay with original Brussels format. Aliyev, Pashinyan, Michel, and the meeting would take place by the end of October again. A lot of discussions We still had 2 months, November, December 2023. Everything is ready, no Karabakh, no Armenians, all problems are solved. So at the end of the October, we would have a meeting in Brussels. And as a peace agreement will be signed, or a roadmap will be agreed, and then peace agreement will be signed by the end of December 2023. Again, Brussels, Washington, Geneva, Vienna. However, somewhere in late October, President Aliyev stated that he did not have any time to go to Brussels. And then suddenly Azerbaijan started to speak that extraterritorial powers or ex-regional powers in the South Caucasus, the European Union, the United States, they brought only chaos, they brought only instability. Regional problems should be solved by regions, powers, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Russia, Iran, Turkey. So Azerbaijan had no intention to continue negotiation on Western platforms. Russian platform or direct bilateral negotiations as in Georgia, but Georgia not as a facilitator or mediator, Georgia simply as a location, or negotiation on Armenia-Azerbaijan border. This time the West really was shocked. People were trying to understand what's going on. At the end of the day, we somehow allow Azerbaijan to launch offensive against Nagorno-Karabakh. We did nothing against Azerbaijan after military offensive, after forced displacement of all Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh, despite we understood that these were very bad things, and we understood that President Aliyev promised us no force against Nagorno-Karabakh, then he used force, but we said, okay, if this will bring peace, we are ready somehow to swallow this insult, we will forget about this insult, but at the end of the day, we will have peaceful South Caucasus with more West, less Russia, less Iran. However, November 2023, no negotiations. Americans jumped in, inviting foreign ministers to go to Washington, but then Azerbaijan stated that United States is pro-Armenian also. United States was not neutral, so Azerbaijan could not negotiate also in Washington. And now, in early December 2023, no one is speaking about any peace agreement by the end of 2023. Even there is no understanding if will be any meeting by the end of 2023 between Pashinyan and Aliyev, or at least between foreign ministers. And Azerbaijan now is speaking that it's ready to go to Moscow. Armenia does not want to go to Moscow because Armenian-Russia relations are strained. Armenia started to boycott CSTO, CIS summits, and Armenia does not believe that it will feel itself comfortable in Moscow. But also, Azerbaijan does not want to go to the West. But what is the key reason? Like why, after finishing with Nagorno-Karabakh, kicking out all Armenians, and having a military parade in Stepanakert with 0 Armenians on the 20th anniversary of its election as a president, October 15, 2023, Aliyev, seemingly reaching all which you could even dream regarding Armenia-Azerbaijan relations, now is telling that no peace agreement. I'm not interested in peace agreement. I have still a lot of issues with Armenia, so negotiations cannot be resumed in Western platforms, but even if there are negotiations in Moscow or in other platforms, still we have a lot of problems to be fixed, etc., etc. Really, many people do not understand what's going on. The key problem is here that President Aliyev and Azerbaijan leadership in general, they need a unifying idea to unify a nation around the national leaders. In Azerbaijan, there are a lot of problems. Terrible inequality, few people, billionaires, lot of people living in extreme poverty. There is a lack of political freedoms or no political freedoms, no other freedoms. So there is a lot of reasons for population to be angry against authorities. So somehow to divert this anger or even to smooth this anger, the government needs some unifying idea, and this unifying idea should be something outside Azerbaijan and should be something which will unite all to support Azerbaijani leadership. So immediately after 2003, when President Aliyev came to power, after his father's death, President Aliyev declared that, okay, his goal of his life is to bring back Azerbaijani flag to Shushi, or Shusha as Azerbaijanis are calling. This was a unifying idea because for whatever reasons, objective or subjective, for many Azerbaijanis, Shushi was a symbol of Azerbaijani culture or whatever. So this idea that we should support me, and despite all the problems, you should tolerate them, because I will fulfill our national dream. I will bring Azerbaijani flag to Shushi. This worked. And it's not coinciding that on November 10, 2020, hundreds of thousands of millions of Azerbaijanis were celebrating, regardless their social status, regardless level of education, and etc. Millions of Azerbaijanis were celebrating the a victory in the Second Nagorno-Karabakh War and the Azerbaijani flag in Shushi. However, victory or Azerbaijani flag in Shushi is a currency which will depreciate. Within 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, nobody knows, but it will depreciate. Azerbaijani leadership, including president himself, they need no symbol, which again will unite the population towards the leadership, towards the leaders of the nation. And again, it will be used telling to the population, yes, you are suffering, few are billionaires, millions are in extreme poverty, there are a lot of problems, no freedoms, many people are in jails, many people are in exile, but I promise you, Azerbaijani flag will be in Shushi. Now, Azerbaijan needs another idea. It's another promise. And given what the Azerbaijani government is doing, most probably the new target of these discussions or the new target for unifying Azerbaijani society around Azerbaijani leadership, it could be Armenia itself. That is why Azerbaijan is developing the concept of Western Azerbaijan. And probably the message is this. Okay, you tolerated a lot of terrible things, a lot of injustices, a lot of inequality, but President Aliyev, within 20 years, fulfilled its promise. And it realized Azerbaijani national dreams. The next national dream is Armenia itself. It should be transformed into Western Azerbaijan, or it should be transformed something else. But now the Western Azerbaijan probably is becoming the new Shushi. The idea which will unite Azerbaijani society along Azerbaijani leadership, and which will allow current Azerbaijani leadership and maybe their children to govern for another 20 years, telling that, look, we promised something you in 2003, and we realized it in 2023. So tolerate all injustices and all problems in Azerbaijan until 2043, but in 2043 we will realize the next step of our national dream. And this time it will be the creation of Western Azerbaijan, probably in part of Armenia or entire Armenia. And if this is the case, then Azerbaijan does not need any peace agreement with Armenia, because peace agreement with Armenia, even with the best conditions for Azerbaijan, giving back enclaves or giving corridor via Sunik or making delimitation demarcation was the best way for Azerbaijan, this will mean one thing. Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict is over. And after signing a peace agreement with Armenia, it's very difficult to argue that, yes, let's wait for 20 years because I promise you I will realize our next national dream, the establishment of Western Azerbaijan. It's simply impossible. That is why, most probably, Azerbaijan will never sign peace agreement with Armenia, because again, peace agreement with Armenia means that they cannot use the concept of Western Azerbaijan as a unifying idea, the same way as they did with Shushi. This all for now, and we will meet soon.